Welcome to the iVend Loyalty Features and Functionalities webinar. My name is Keith Morrison. I am the Manager Consulting for South Africa. I'm very pleased to see that we have had a very wide response for this webinar, and I'm glad to go see that we've got many of our partners from across the globe going and joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand at any time. I will try raise your hand or ask the question in the question box at any time. I will try and get to them as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, I might not always see them immediately, but I will try to get to them as soon as I see them. Please remember that this is not your only channel for information about iVend Loyalty. If you do have if there are any other questions, we have many other resources you can access, such as support, the forums on CKP, knowledge articles, and videos. So those are all avenues that are available. All right, without much further ado, let's begin. On the agenda today, we have the loyalty process, the loyalty setup, special days, loyalty levels, plans, notification, membership adjustments, and transfers. Now, if you are already familiar with loyalty, I do hope that I can at least go and at least teach you one or two tricks. If not, then please enjoy it, and I hope that you get to learn a little bit more about it. So let's begin. The loyalty process. Now, to start off over here, we have obviously our loyalty level that would need to be set up. After that, we have our membership registrations. So that's where we're actually going and recording who's actually using what. Then we've got our loyalty plans. Then we actually go and we determine how members actually get what members get rewarded with or awarded with, as the case might be, and how they can finally redemption of points. So over here is all set up and integrated into iVend 6.4, just to go make it easier as opposed to before where it was a separate program. And this just makes it far more easier to use now that it is completely and properly embedded in here. The first and probably most important screen. This is the loyalty setup point, and this over here we have our loyalty setup with our registration methods, card managements, loyalty allocation, level allocations, awarding of bonus points on registration, all currency, the award criteria, level management methods, redemption methods, and finally conflict resolution. I will be referring back to the screen a couple of times as we go through the rest of the slides, just because there are certain settings in here that we do need to be aware of that will go and affect the way that loyalty is handled within the system. So let's go across to the management console, and we can actually see where this. Go to operations, loyalty setup. And one of the first things that you will see over here is that certain parts of this are grayed out. So for instance, customer code and card management, which I will get into shortly, are actually set at your initial level. Just set up your loyalty, and once they are set, you can't change them. This is just to go and make sure that it doesn't confuse the system or cause problems further down the line. Before I go back to the main slides, there is one thing I do want to remind everyone, is that help is always available by pressing the Control and F1 keys on iVend. And in here, a lot of the things that I will be talking about today are discussed as well. So you will be able to go through here and find out exactly what the options are. Right, so if we go back to our if we go back over here, the first point that you saw that appeared over there is the registration method. Now, with this, we've got two parts, which is the registration method and the card management that is attached to it. Now, the one I have selected at the moment for today is the customer code. This customer code means that it will also double up as the actual code that's used for loyalty. Now, with this, this just makes it easier to go easier within the system to actually go and manage and keep these in check. However, some customers and some shops would prefer to go and keep the customer codes and their loyalty card codes as two separate codes. For them, sometimes it makes it easier to track. It also means that it also allows greater flexibility in some ways. You can also go set up your loyalty as just a straightforward loyalty card. And with that, you've got the options on your card management as auto-generated, pre-printed, and user-defined. Finally, we also have the loyalty card attached to a customer code, and this means that you can have a separate loyalty card code that to your actual customer code, and it does allow a degree of greater flexibility. This is particularly helpful when your customer codes might be quite short, or they might not look particularly nice. So this gives us options on how exactly we want to display and use it. Now, auto-generated, pre-printed, and user-defined. Now, generated. Now, these are codes that are auto-generated within the system, and this means that we can go and set up an actual document numbering series. We can do things such as assigning it to a store, to a specific store, and we can also go and set up a start and an end number for that specific store and that specific range. This means that when the customer is registered for loyalty, they will go and automatically be assigned a customer code, as opposed to going and having one entered for them. In order to the place where you find this is go across to our management console. I'm going to close this. Up here to administration, document numbering series, new, and then over here, if we go and we scroll down, we'll see that we have our loyalty card document type. You can go enter in the details over here as we might need them. Next up, we have our pre-printed cards. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to having either auto-generated, pre-printed, or user-defined numbers. The advantage with auto-generated is that it will be automatically generated by the point of sale at time when the customer is entered as a loyalty user. The pre-printed card, these cards can be pre-printed by the stationers, and you can actually track the progress of these cards as they move from the system through the system to the actual stores. There, when somebody actually goes and picks one up, and joins the loyalty membership, they can actually be scanned in and joined to their specific customer details in the system. With this over here, we can go and actually receipt these in. And if I go across to my management console, close this, and go to operations, loyalty, then pre-printed loyalty card, new. Over here, I can go put in my receipt number, whatever that might be, my receipt date when I'm receiving them, which store they are attached to, quantity 100, and a comment if I need to. can also go and add card numbers one at a time, or I can choose to do automatic creation. Now with automatic creation over here, this allows me to go and rapidly create a series of loyalty cards without having to go and type in or scan each of the individual numbers. So for instance, I might have a starting string character of L. So I can set it as type string with no operation on it, and then I can add a second row where I can put the starting number as 001. I can change the type to number, the operation to increase. If I click OK, you'll see it will automatically generate the loyalty card over here without me having to go and type or scan in each of these individually. Next up, we have the loyalty allocation method, the loyalty level allocation method. And this is quite important to determine, because please remember that we've got a base that we can use either points or currency for loyalty. So the first one we have over here is total available points, where the level will be, as you see, the level will be changed as the available points are changed. Total awarded points means that the system will look at the total awarded points over time and change the levels as necessary. We also have the same for currency, total available currency and total awarded currency. So after that, we also have the award criteria on every transaction, which means that it is going to instantaneously go and award points, or on a cumulative basis. So this over here will go and have a look at the average spend over a period of time, award the amount of currency. And to just give you an example of how this works, for example, if our platinum level over here is 400 points and our silver level is 100 points, let's say the customer has been awarded 500 points over the time that they have been with us. However, they've spent some of those points and they only have 100 points available. So, going by the two methods that are available, with the total available method, the customer level is now silver, whereas with the total awarded method, the customer level is now platinum. Now, I can understand there might be some confusion, because I certainly know that in some areas they would normally use the total available points, not the total awarded. But total awarded are used in places such as airlines, where they will go and have a look at the total number of, for instance, air miles that the passenger has traveled, award them points over a period of time. Now, please keep your math caps on, just to go follow us, to follow this one. And I know that this can be an area where people can struggle a bit, particularly with the fallback level. So, over here, we have our redemption methods. If we have our bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Minimum value over here for bronze would be 0. Our points conversion factor, points to local currency, and our redemption percent. Silver, much the same with gold, and same with platinum. Now, you can see over here on our member information that at the moment they've been awarded 470 points, and they are currently on the platinum level. If we go and we use the current level redemption method, then it's a very straightforward calculation. 470 points is equal to $470. However, If they are using the fallback method, which is a sliding level, we then need to go and get a bit more complex. So over here, we will actually be moved down through the actual points to the actual value of what you would get as if you moved down through each stage. So first off, we have 470 points. We have 470 points, which if you subtract 400, which would take us to our platinum level, which gives us which would effectively give us $70 worth of spend. However, once we've dropped below the 400 point, then move on to the gold level, where our points conversion factor is different. This is now where we can go. This is now where we go and only get 50. We normally only get $50. However, one thing we need to consider is the redemption percentage over here of 90, which means that we can only redeem 90% of that of the points on that specific level. So we would only receive 5 points over there. The same thing happens over here with the silver level. Once we're over there, we would only get 1/3 of that. So that combined with our redemption percentage means that we then only get 26.67 points available on silver. Then finally, with the remaining amount, we get down to bronze, where we only would get 35 points. The grand total of this all adds up to is 176.67 points. So this can be one of the more complex factors within loyalty, but so long as you're careful and you check your way through it, you'll be able to go see exactly how the points should be awarded to a specific person. So let me go and moving on to the next point. Next up, we get our points expiry setup, and we have a couple of methods over here. We have sliding, fixed date, customer code. We can set our customer type by either customer code or customer group, our level, our expiry days, or our expiry date. Let's see how this looks in the management console. I go across to loyalty setup, and then down at the bottom left-hand side over here, see my points expiry setup. Here I can go and select my expiry method, sliding or fixed. I'm going to select sliding for the moment, and I'll come back to fixed in a minute. Customer type, all customers, or a specific customer code, or a specific customer group. And if I select a specific customer code, I can then enter in a specific customer value, be that either the group or the customer code. I can also assign this to a different level. So for instance, I might want to go and assign this to my platinum level. So my platinum members have got 365 days to spend their points from time of purchase. This means that if my platinum member were to go and buy something today on the 17th of September, 2015, they would only need their points for that purchase would expire the 17th of September 2016. I can also do things such as adding in a separate row. And over here, if I go and I select my expiry method, once again, I can select my customer types that I might want, either all or for a specific customer group or a specific customer code. And then I can select my level. For instance, in this case, I might want to select bronze. Then I get the option to go enter the expiry date. This means that all of my bronze members have up until the 31st of December 2015 spend their points to spend all the points that they have been awarded. This is quite typical of some programs, such as, once again, airline loyalty programs, where they will go and say that all points need to be spent by a certain date and time. This can also sometimes, and depending on the country that this is set up in, loyalty points will also have a financial implication, and some stores may wish to go and clear off the loyalty points before the end of their financial year. Next up, we have special days. Now, there are some very important things to remember about special days. We've got a couple of different types. The first two special days I will be talking about are ones that actually appear in the business partner. And if we go over here, I'm going to go and select Edward Robinson, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And two of the special days that are loaded in here are the date of birth and the anniversary date. These two are defined directly over here. Other special days that you can set up are over here in Loyalty Special Days. And ones you might want to go set up are, for instance, New Year. You can set the date, in this particular case. I'm going to go set 1st of January, and then you can go and add that into the system. And you can use this special day as a basis for your for some of your loyalty plans, which we will see. Now, remember with your loyalty level management, you can set up as many levels as you want, but we will always go and you can go and set up your conversion ratios between different levels. You can set your points conversion factor of how many points that you can redeem at a specific time, and your points to currency. Also set your maximum redemption percentage allowed per transaction. And as we saw earlier with the fallback method, this can rather drastically affect the way that your points are spent within the system. Let's have a look at this in the management console. I go over here to loyalty plans, loyalty levels, and here we'll go and here we see our 4 levels that have been set in the system. First up, we have bronze, and your first level that you set will always have a minimum value of 0, because obviously that is you need at least one level to go and actually have people in the loyalty system and have them initialized. After that, we then, if I go and I sort it by minimum value, got silver, gold, platinum. So let's open up bronze. So once again, like I said, minimum value to attain this level would be 0, because this is our starter level. After that, we've got our points conversion factor. So in this particular instance, it's 4 points to 1 currency unit. So this can change. You can have things such as, say, 5 points to 2 currency units, or however you wish to go and make the conversion. Finally, we have the maximum redemption percent allowed per transaction, which is the maximum amount of points you are allowed to redeem in a single transaction. It does mean that you can go and start limiting the way that people go and actually spend points in the system with the actual shops. However, it does mean that after time, this only works as a percentage. It does mean that after time, if a person is determined, they can eventually go and spend all of the points that they have in the system. And please remember as well, these loyalty levels that we have over here, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, are just a recommendation. You can have different levels, and this is also something that is generally quite specific to the store that you will be that you are dealing with. They quite often people might want to go and have different levels. For instance, they might want to go depending on exactly where they are. They might want to go and base it on different levels, maybe Earl, Duke, or whatever else they might want to put in. But that is entirely up to the people running the actual store. Finally, we actually get to the meat of the program, and this is the actual loyalty plan. So we have the different loyalty plan types, which once again I will cover in a slide or two. Date period when this actual plan is active, right? Whether it's by customer, and this over here, we will go and set whether it's by a specific customer, criteria group, tender, award type, award value, via any specific store, and then exception rules in the system. Let's go across to the management console and see how this works. I see we have our first. I have one of my first questions. Voice is interrupting in some points. Pardon, can everybody hear me? If you can just raise your hands and just let me know that is anybody experiencing any technical difficulties? Okay, all right. I can go. I see everyone has. Everyone can hear me. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Clayton. Okay. All right. That's good to hear. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Remember that I will continue. I will continue now. But remember as well, this recording will be available online hopefully tomorrow within a few days. Okay, so let's go across to the loyalty plan in the management console. Over here, I have my basic plan. Now, please remember, obviously, you do need at least one basic plan to actually go and get the loyalty system going. You can have, and obviously, you can have as many plans as you want, though you may find that they will come into conflict. I'll deal with the exact how the conflict will be resolved in a minute. Over here we have just a fairly straightforward basic plan. I can go set my plan types over here. I've got normal, special days, which is related to the loyalty special days which we just set up over there. I also have my special days for customers, and you'll see over here the options change slightly when I activate that. This over here I can choose to go activate whether it's for a specific birthday or an anniversary day, and I can go and also set the start date, start time, as well as end date and end time that this plan will run. Right, so let's go across over here to our plan details. Over here first we have our exclude. This essentially turns the plan upside down, and this will mean that it will specifically exclude what you have set up further down in the line. At the moment, we'll leave it unticked. Must award, whether it must be awarded or not, or whether it will force the award through. And over here we get the customer type. And here we can go set this to be either a specific customer code or a customer group. Right. Once again, if we go and we select customer code or customer group, then we can enter a specific customer value over here. Over here we have level. We can select a specific loyalty level if we want to go and apply this to a specific customer. That in over there. Next up, we have the criteria value, and this is where we can start to go and expand on exactly what will be awarded when and how to the customers. So I can select something as all, such as all. I will get further options down the line to go and actually change exactly how points will be awarded. But I've got options to go set this on items. So buy a specific item and get extra points. Buy a specific item group and get extra points. Is it linked to a promotion? And you will remember as well, in our promotion section, we have the option to reward points as well. Is it part of, if you buy something on layaway, do you get points? Is it linked to the bill value? Or is it linked to the quantity of items that is being bought? At the moment, I'm going to leave this as bill value. Next up, I have my transaction criteria. Is it on every transaction? Well, is it equal to that? Is it, or does it need to be after a specific number of transactions or greater than a specific number of transactions? So what this means is that you can say every 5th transaction, bonus points are awarded, or after the first 10 transactions, then the points are awarded. Our calculation basis, which at the moment is amount, if I go and I switch this over here to bill quantity, you'll see my calculation basis over here switches to quantity as well. Calculation on every, greater or equal. These two options are, but with every, it means that for every $10 that is spent, in this particular case, I will be awarded one point. Right. Whereas if it was greater than or equal, it would mean that if I spent, say, $50, then I would be awarded a fixed amount of points after that. I can also link in a tender type, and I can choose exactly what's being awarded, points or currency. So I can choose to add rows to this as well if I want to, and from here I can go and do things such as assigning it to, say, a specific loyalty level. So my first level might be for bronze. The second part of the plan over here might be for gold. I can also go and set whether it is where it is applicable, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with our bonus buys section. This works exactly the same way. And over here we can select which days it will be available on, as well as start times and end times. These are handy for promotions such as opening weekend, right? Available only on Saturday. Opening weekend of a new store, double points. Or lunchtime special, right? Double points for every item bought between the hours of 1 and 2 during the week. Finally, I also have my exception rules or special days set up. And over here, this allows me to go and set up when people will not be getting points. And in particular, we might not want to go and award points that are already on promotion. So if something's already got 50% off, we don't then want to go and add, we don't want to go and then add on another, we don't essentially want to give the customer more discount or more points effectively on top of that. Exclude all items with discount override. So if somebody's had to go and override the discount, then they won't get any points. Exclude all items with a discount greater than a certain percentage. So once again, if I'm buying a TV and I've already got 30% discount, I won't be getting points. Then I can go and say that I won't be getting points for this. Exclude all items with price override. Same logic. And once again, price override greater than a certain amount, and you can enter in the value over here. And finally, we can also choose to exclude all items on layaway. Please be careful if you're activating these, and specifically for something like this, that if you exclude all items on layaway, that you don't go and select your criteria value over here as layaway. What I would what is recommended is that when you go and is that you first test your plan details, make sure that it will actually work in a test database, because otherwise you can end up going and either over awarding points or not having it award points at all. So once we've got our loyalty plan set up, we can then go across and actually start earning points. But before we do that, I've got one or two last things to go show you in loyalty setup, just so that we can be just to go clarify things such as, for instance, the conflict resolution basis and customer special days. Now, customer special days that when we talked about, anniversary, birthday, we can then set exactly when the customer can earn the points. So for instance, if the customer is going and earning points, will they earn the points only on the day, or the week of their birthday, or the month, or we can set days backwards and forwards. So 2 days before, maybe 3 days afterwards, so the customer has a bit of time to earn points as necessary. Next up, we have our conflict resolution basis. We can set that to either global or plan global, and then we can set exactly how many points the person will be awarded, depending on exactly which plan comes out. Will they be awarded the minimum number of points that would be awarded from any plan, maximum number, the sum total of all the points from all the plans, or the average? I'm going to leave mine on maximum for a specific plan. All right, so I can just head back here to my PowerPoint. Finally, this over here we've been through. This is the loyalty days setup, the birthday or anniversary date. Right, so this is where the calculation on and the calculation value comes into play. So for instance, calculation value is 100 and the award is 10 points, and the transaction that is put through is $220, then it will go and then if it's set to every, it will award 20 points. So it will award 20 points. If it's set to greater than equal, it will award 10 points. To show this in the management console, come across to my loyalty plan, open it up, and we see over here that if my calculation value was 100, and my award value is 10. That means that I would be awarded 20 points because I spent $200 and I get 10 points for every $100. If it was greater than or equal, that means, which I would go set over here, greater than or equal, or every. It means that once I exceeded $100, I would only get 10 points. Now, for member registration, right, it's very important to make sure that the member is ticked as a loyalty member. So if I go across to my business partners over here and I open up my customer view, let's go new. First name, I'll enter in my first and last name, my company group, my customer group, customers, and then coming further down the list over here, you'll see the actual checkbox loyalty member. If I leave this unchecked at the moment, I can continue on, go and add this in. However, I will not be marked as a loyalty member. So if I leave this unchecked at the moment, I'll add that in. And if I go to my customers over here and open it up, you'll see that I don't have my loyalty member fields available. However, once I've checked this, I can't uncheck it. So I'm going to check it now, click OK, and then open it up. And we'll see that the loyalty points information section has now opened up. So now we come to the actual point of where we're going to go and award points. The loyalty plan that they have over here, we see, is the $100 for 10 points. My one is slightly different. For every, I've actually gone and dropped off a 0 from each of these just to make it slightly easier to use. So let's go and we'll use Edward Robinson, see how many points I head across to my point of sale. And if you don't have Edward immediately selected like I do, remember you can just type Edward here and it will go select him. At the moment my available points are 1166. Let's purchase something and see what happens. I do my Ralph Lauren shirt as well as Levi jeans. So I now have $116 over here. I then go through my payments and pay cash. Let's go back here, select Edward. We'll now see that I have gained another $11 because I went and I spent $116. So that is now, instead of 1,166 points, I now have 1,177. Now, redeeming points. If I'm going to go and redeem points at the bronze level, right? Remember that this is where my point conversion factor comes in. And if this was the case, and my point conversion factor was 4, points to currency would be 1, my maximum redemption percentage would be 70, and which would mean that my redeemable amount would be 40 points divided by 4, multiplied by 1 for my currency point to currency, and then multiplied by 70% would equal $7. So over here we would go over here, we'd see balance of 75 payable amount, and the redeemable amount would be $7 in the system. Let's go across to my point of sale. We have Edward, who's got slightly more points. If I come across and I decide I want to buy a shirt for points, I come across to payments. I select my payment method, loyalty. I then have the option to go see my payable amounts, any discounts, surcharges, my loyalty card. In this specific case, it's my customer code. If you remember, that's the way that it was set up in the system. I then have my redeemable amount of points, which is $74.88. Click OK. Let's select Edward again. Here we see my available points have now dropped to 1,109 points. Next, pardon. Next up, my membership. We have my membership cards, card transfer, and adjustments. Now, with membership groups over here, this would mean that I can go and set up a membership group, for instance, for a family. This means that mom, dad, and depending on the age of the kids, maybe they might be able to get one as well. They can all have a membership group and share the points that are generated in there. So, and in this particular case, all the points will be generated, all the points generated by the members will be pooled and will be available to all of them. Next up, I have my loyalty card transfer. This over here would be the case if, for instance, somebody moved overseas and wanted to go and give their points to a friend. Please remember, when loyalty card transfer is used, yes? Pardon, I'm just trying to go and open up the... I'm sorry, did somebody have a question? Okay. It appears that something came up that was an old question. This over here with the loyalty card transfer would mean that the if somebody is going away and they want to go and essentially completely close their account and transfer their points from their account to a friend's account, they're allowed to do it. You can go and use the card transfer functionality to move it from one account to another. The old account that the points were transferred from will be closed at the end of it. And in this particular instance, all points will be moved, and with the loyalty card transfer function, all points will be moved from the old card to the new card. Finally, over here, I have my loyalty adjustment journal. This over here is used to go and adjust the number of points that have been awarded. And coming across to my management console, loyalty, and my loyalty adjustment journal, I can click new. Loyalty, I can enter in I can enter in a reference number. Any notes, and then I can add my customer ID, Edward, and in this particular case, if he's been, I can go and choose to add additional points over here. If I want to go and remove points from him, for instance, he's been accidentally awarded too many points, I can just put a negative in front of the adjustment points over here, and then click OK. I also have the option to go and import a file for these. So if there is a large number of loyalty point adjustments that need to go through, or for instance, you're taking on a large number of loyalty points, you can put them in. Once I've done that, I can come across and let's have a look for Edward. Just going to let's go view. Okay, I have a question. Once a card has, here we go, we have a question from Clayton. Once a card has been removed, can the old card still be used by another customer? So I tried it and it could not find the old card. I did see it in the database, but there was no way to reuse it. Yes, Clayton, that is quite correct. Once the old card has been used, it has been, once the old card has been transferred, that account is essentially locked. And it is disabled. You'll be able to see it, and it's kept there for strictly historical purposes. It's not actually kept there for. It won't be actually kept there. You won't be able to go use it again at all. All right. Okay. Over here, right, we can see total points awarded, and then we can see the available points over here for Edward are now 1,009 instead of 1,109. And if we go to the loyalty points details, we can see exactly what's happened over there. There was an adjustment made against him. Now, important with this is the notifications of loyalty that are the notifications for loyalty and the interaction with the customers as they actually use the system. We have various notification points in here, such as user creation, so many number of points away from the next level, user crosses into the next level, your loyalty point statement to know exactly how much you have and where they are, and your user award redemption. So whenever the user goes and spends their points, they will get alerted to that. Points that are about to expire, and also transfers. So if I come across to my management console over here, we have our loyalty notifications, and if I go and I open up, for instance, the points expiry, we have over here the code, the description, and then the type. This type over here, there are a couple of different types that you can access. You can go set the email or SMS template that is associated with it, and then also the email from and the email display name. Finally, over here we get the interval in days. This is when the specific notification setup is going to run. So this over here means that you can go set this either for every 1 day or for every 30 days. So this would then run at the end of every month and would go and warn people the points are about to expire. Some of the notifications over here, for instance, the awards redeemable, you'll see that when you select that specific type, it's always immediate. It's not something that will be delayed at a later date. And of course, as with any system, there needs to be a healthy set of reports to go with it. So I'm going to go and open up just one or two because I do see we are running out of time. I'm going to go to I'm going to go across to my loyalty reports now. To get there, we go to reports, loyalty, and we can do the loyalty point aging. Over here, I can enter in my parameter values. If I have any, click OK. From here, I'll be able to go and actually see when points were awarded and things such as the expiry dates, if there was awarded currency, which level that person was at, and the ID and name of them. You see over here, Edward Robinson's been a popular customer, along with Dennis Mitchell and Jerry Carter. Please remember that these reports over here are customizable using the iVend report designer, as well as you can publish them to the web for people if they have the web report viewer loaded on their user profile. Next up, we also have new loyalty dashboards that come with 6.1.4. These include things such as loyalty finance view, loyalty member segmentations, loyalty overview, loyalty plan performance, and loyalty store-wise view. I'm going to start off first with the loyalty finance view. And this is quite important because, as I mentioned before, loyalty reports loyalty impacts finance, and there are some customers, and there are some places where they will actually require the stores to actually go keep aside a certain amount of cash value for the loyalty points. So having this over here where we can go see how the actual how loyalty is functioning, whether how the member revenue is, that we're getting how the non-member revenue is, the revenue share over the month, as well as the members' revenue share as a percent, will give a better idea about how much needs to be, what cash reserves need to be set aside to go and maintain the loyalty system. We can also go see our loyalty currency summary. So what was awarded, what is available, what is redeemed, and what's due to expire. You can also see the transaction members, total transactions, and member transactions, and then the transaction members for the month. We can also go to our loyalty overview. We can see our member counts, how they've risen, member registration, member count levels, points redeemed, awarded, total points accumulated, and members transacted. Another quite important one is our member segmentations. And what this allows us to do is to go and determine who, what age group, what gender distribution, what gender revenue we're getting, and which levels specific genders are in. So we can see whether it's going and appealing to men or women, children or senior people. So for using these, members who are running the loyalty programs can then determine exactly how best to go focus their marketing efforts. Then we also have our store-wise view. And this will give us our registration, membership revenue, membership transactions, transaction count for weekdays, transaction count monthly, points awarded, redeemed, and we can also go drill down into our various stores so we can see exactly where we are making, where the loyalty is working and where it is not. I'm going to unmute the lines now, and if there are any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will try and answer them to the best of my ability. If there are any questions, please raise your hand or type out the question. I will try and I will go and I will answer it as best I can. Are there any questions? Okay, I have one question that has popped up. Loyalty, here we go. Yes, I am. This is iVend 6.41. This is the latest one that has been released. If you do not have iVend 6.41, the dashboards wouldn't be in there. Are there any other questions? Okay, I have one more question. Can the loyalty be calculated on the net total amount spent? So no, the loyalty would be calculated on the total amount. That would include tax, not it wouldn't be excluding tax. After all, if you went and you spent $150 at a store, you wouldn't want to only receive, say, $130 worth of loyalty points. Yes, here we go. Okay, Clayton, I see you're asking because there's an issue with the update for 641 where the points were not awarded based on the amount due but on the tendered amount. Clayton, I would need to go and have a look at that with support to go see what the exact story is there. Let me just take down that question. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Clayton. I will transfer this on to the relevant people, and they can then go and let me know what they can then be in touch with you and let you know what exactly the story is there with that. And hopefully we can go and find out exactly what's going on there. No problem. Do we have any other questions? Okay, everyone. I'm sure that I've gone and bored you all to tears by now. So if there are no other questions, I'm going to go and sign off. And I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, evening, or good night, depending on where you are in the world. But thank you very much for attending this. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. My email address is over here, keith.morrison@cityaccess.com, and please feel free to get in touch with me if you have any other questions that you would like answered, or if there is any other points that you'd like more information on. Thank you very much for attending, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar.